Shalom, family. Sorry about that. I kind of got caught up in something. All right. So, we're going to talk about something that's going on. NATO is no longer sharing intelligence with the US. And they're not the only one. In fact, Ukraine stopped sharing intelligence because Zelensky believes Donald Trump is giving the intelligence to Putin, because there were a couple of incidents that happened and Putin was sort of ready for things they were planning. And so now Ukraine, they used to share intelligence with Biden when he was in office, but with Donald Trump, they won't share anything with him anymore. And Greenland, their prime minister just put the country on alert for an invasion. So they must suspect that something is about to happen real soon in order for them to put their citizens on alert. And Donald Trump shows no signs of backing off. He is ready to take it. And you heard what he said about a week ago. He said they'll take, if they don't get it, they'll take it by force. So he's already said that. So I don't think anybody should be surprised. So I hope he don't do this, because I don't think it's going to be a Venezuelan event. Venezuela was pretty easy for them. And he probably assumes it's going to be easy for the US, no matter which place they take, and that's not necessarily true. Just because one country did not fight hard, it don't mean the next one you go to won't fight hard. So I don't know about this one, Donald Trump. You already got the EU all coming together to go against the US if they happen to go in there and take over Greenland. So they already got their troops there from various different countries: Germany, France, Denmark. They're all sending troops in there waiting for Donald Trump to make a move on Greenland. So it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing unfolds. But you know what I noticed, y'all? They're not talking about funding the government. And we're really not that far away from funding running out. They only funded until January 31st. And usually, they talk about that a lot in the media every time the deadlines come. And I noticed this time around, it's almost like nobody is paying attention to the deadline, at all. I'm just saying. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. Yeah, well, I think we should stay prayed up, and I think we should pray for our family that's in the military. Definitely. You know? Okay. Thank you, everybody.
I guess Greenland got an inside scoop. They already preparing their people. Come on, Simple. Let's see what AT. Let's talk about it. So we all know Donald Trump been back and forth, round and round. This reason, their reason, and the third reason for saying that he wants to invade Greenland. But he hasn't said nothing in stone that said he was going to do anything, right away or when it was going to happen. Well, the Prime Minister of Greenland has informed their people that they need to go ahead and prepare for an invasion. Now, keep in mind, it's only about 54,000 people. Don't quote me on the number, but 54,000 people who live in Greenland. That's not including all of the troops that came over to help from Germany, France, and other European countries, y'all. So it's got a little bit more over there currently, y'all. But obviously, they know a little more than what the United States people know, is for them to go ahead and tell their people to prepare. So they must got an inside source or a scoop or something that's telling them, oh yeah, Donald Trump gonna apply that pressure. He's come, and go ahead and prepare, y'all, because they have started to go ahead and prepare the people of Greenland, y'all. 54,000 people, small population, y'all, but we ain't counting the soldiers, the troops that came from other countries over there with the citizens of Greenland, y'all. We gonna keep an eye on this and see where it goes. Y'all know Donald Trump ain't letting up. He gave this reason, that reason, and the third reason as to why he wants to invade Greenland. He just know he wants it invaded. Thank y'all for sipping a limo tea when I ain't see. Bye, y'all.
Breaking news. This is actually insane, and I can't believe I'm saying this. But Greenland's prime minister has just issued a warning to his citizens to prepare for a possible invasion by the United States. This is easily the most serious comment we have ever heard from Greenland's leadership to date. Now, to be clear, in his address, he did state that an actual invasion remains, quote, unlikely. But the fact that he is explicitly telling the people of Greenland to start preparing is sending shockwaves globally. You have to realize there are only about 57,000 people living on the entire island, not counting the military personnel already stationed there. It is a massive territory with a tiny population, making this David versus Goliath scenario terrifying. This report comes directly from Bloomberg, and it raises so many questions. Does the prime minister have specific intelligence or insight into U.S. military plans that the public doesn't know about yet? Why would he incite this kind of panic if there wasn't a real threat? The timing is also incredibly suspicious because Donald Trump is currently in Switzerland, and we expect to learn a lot more about the administration's foreign policy moves this week. I'll keep you updated as this develops. Spread the word because this is major. Follow along for all the news you need to know.
We have some huge news right now. One of America's closest allies, the United Kingdom, is stopping some intelligence sharing with the United States of America over concerns that the United Kingdom may be complicit in illegal actions and possible war crimes if it continues to share information and intelligence as the United States conducts strikes in the Southern Caribbean. This is stunning. According to CNN's exclusive reporting today, the United Kingdom is halting some intelligence sharing with the United States over concerns of the United States strikes in the Southern Caribbean, that they could be illegal, that they could possibly be war crimes, as the United States continues to target so-called drug boats without any due process. And as the Pentagon is even acknowledging privately that it does not know exactly who it is striking. A major ally to the United States is pulling back intelligence sharing over concerns that America may be committing illegal activities in open waters. Major news right now. Spread the word, follow along for all the news that you need to know about. More to come soon.
NATO stops sharing intelligence with the United States of America. If you didn't give a fuck about ICE, if you didn't care about American citizens being so woefully mistreated, and you call yourself a patriot, you call yourself an American, you call yourself someone who is a defender of this nation, and you're ride or die for the military, and you're ride or die for our Constitution, you know good and damn well what it means, just like I know what it means. As every other history major, political science major, economics, we know what it means when NATO chooses to stop sharing intelligence with the United States of America. And if you respect our fucking Constitution at all, any bit of it, you'd be outside at 2 p.m. Any bit of it. Any part where it says that we are people deserving of anything. Any part of it where it says that the government cannot weaponize our own people against us. Where soldiers have no right to be in your house. Where the government has no right to your home without a warrant for search and seizure. Because these are rights we're all watching get stripped away from all of us at once. And on a global, international, foreign policy scale, we have been so isolated that we have been abandoned. Either you give a fuck or you don't. And if you don't give a fuck, then please just go ahead and sign up for ICE and pray that nobody remembered that you did that in 4 years, in 2 years, in 6 months.
Hi, y'all. In case you didn't know about this insane breaking news headline as of early this morning, this is an article that's over on MSN.com. NATO has stopped sharing intelligence with the United States as of today, which is fucking insane and terrifying. Not only does that mean that some of our oldest allies, i.e., Britain and France, which we've been, at least since World War II, been like this, but even earlier than that, more than 70 years of intelligence sharing, is done. I don't know how we come back from this. I do not know how we rebuild trust. Certainly will not be able to do so under this current administration if they ever leave office, which they won't, outside of being forced out. This is probably, history book wise, what's going to be the last domino to show the start of World War III, which we've been in for several years now. In case you didn't know, we've been actively in World War III for a while. BT dubs. But yeah, this is bananas when it comes to any sort of military standing for the United States. I know a lot of maggots think, oh, whatever, fuck NATO, doesn't do anything anyway. Y'all don't realize that is purely the only reason we have the ability to have boots on the ground in Europe, Asia, North Africa, the Middle East. Without NATO, we're fucked when it comes to any sort of cooperative alliance. Whether the NATO survives the US being kicked out, which I'm sure that will come not long after this, if they're already not trusting giving intelligence to us anymore, because our president is hell-bent on acquiring Greenland, not for any sort of real reason militarily, because we have bases there and they have offered to let us build more, because truly they do not give a fuck if we have troops there. They just don't want us to own it because it's not ours. Trump wants it to provide a weird safe haven for billionaires to do all sorts of absolutely horrific shit when it comes to the economy and people experiments and all sorts of shit. So yeah, in case you did not know, our closest military allies do not trust us anymore officially. And I'm sure they've been working on that for a hot minute, but as of today, they are no longer sharing intelligence with us. I would not be shocked if bases start getting closed, embassies start being withdrawn, and hostilities don't increase. But we're incredibly fucked. Not only from a military standpoint, and I don't believe that we should have bases in other fucking countries. That's my personal opinion. But from an economic standpoint, y'all don't realize how much fucking money we rely on NATO to prop up our economy. We sell them so many weapons. The United States economy is propped up so much by our weapons trade, primarily to our allies in NATO, along with also Israel, and some other select people, back deals and stuff. But NATO's a gigantic trade partner. So if they are not sharing intelligence, they're certainly not buying our shit. Or they're looking for alternative ways, because if you don't trust us with knowledge, you certainly shouldn't trust us with weapons. So the economic devastation that's going to happen with our now continued push for the isolationist policies that maggots fucking love but have no concept of how absolutely devastating and that's going to be, we're fucked. Like, our economy is going to go into a fucking spiral if there's not some sort of resolution, which there probably won't. There's also talk that the Prime Minister of Greenland has notified residents that they should prepare for an invasion, which those 1,500 paratroopers that are on guard for Minnesota are absolutely being sent there. The intention is to clearly drop from the sky and invade Greenland and take it over, which I think is hilarious that they think it's only 1,500 is going to be sufficient. Not a huge place, but guys, so fucking bad. We're so fucked.
Y'all, they are telling the citizens of Greenland prepare to be invaded. Let me say this again. Apparently, they're preparing them. They're telling them to get prepared to be invaded.
So multiple outlets are now reporting that our allies are meeting to seriously discuss curtailing sharing intelligence with the United States. Those allies include the Five Eyes countries, so that's our closest allies, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, the five being then the United States, as well as Saudi Arabia and Israel. This is extremely dangerous for the American people and problematic. Why? Because we, especially with the Five Eyes countries, have established protocol, especially with terrorism intelligence, that we are required to share intelligence with our Five Eyes partners. So take, for instance, one of our Five Eyes allies collect information or intelligence indicating a terrorist group is planning an attack against the United States. Or there's the threat of an imminent attack against the United States. Those countries may not share that intelligence with us for fear that the United States will compromise that country's sources and methods, the means by which they collected the information. Intelligence collection capabilities of the US and our allies, in some cases, are extremely sensitive, that if damaged or lost would significantly hurt that country's capabilities to protect itself. So if we don't get that information in the United States, the American people are in danger. This is all due to Trump's actions and JD Vance's actions in their movement towards Russia and Vladimir Putin. Obviously, these countries are extremely concerned that Trump would just decide to share very sensitive intelligence with Putin or with another adversary, just like he did during his first administration, where he shared intelligence with the Russian government that he wasn't supposed to. So again, this is extremely dangerous for the United States and for our allies. But again, it just goes to show you that Trump and JD Vance care more about their relationship with Vladimir Putin, a thug who invaded a democratic country, than they do about our allies or democracy or our ally Ukraine or our NATO alliances. So we'll see what happens, but I don't blame our allies one bit. If I was them, I wouldn't risk our sources and methods with a guy like Trump or Tulsi Gabbard or John Ratcliffe or Kash Patel. No way. So we'll see what happens.
You got to give credit to the Pentagon for their ability to misdirect the press, and as a result, people like me, because everybody at the time, when I made a video where I was talking about 1,500 troops being deployed, was asking the Pentagon, is this in relation to Minneapolis? And they didn't really give straight answers, yes or no. And people sort of, reporters specifically took the sort of lack of a straight answer as like sign that, oh, perhaps this is what it's for. And so it was easy to read their reporting and then obviously be like, okay, well, that must be what it's for, right? The Washington Post was even reporting that. But no, we all got fucking duped. And instead, now what I wake up to is Greenland's prime minister is telling its citizens, like, you need to prepare to be invaded. NATO stopped sharing intelligence with the United States as of today. Like, Trump's over here leaking texts from him and Emmanuel Macron, where Macron is begging him, like, hey, please come to Paris. We can get the G7 together and hash this out. We can even have Russia and Ukraine in the margins if we need to. Trump has no interest in that. None. I don't really think that people get it. It's like if we do this, if we blow up NATO, it is unfathomable how bad this will be for the United States. Like this is not a thing that winning another election solves. Do you know what I'm saying? Like invading one of your own allies is not a thing that getting a different president in the office does anything to ameliorate the effects of. The only way that any country in the current NATO bloc would trust the United States again is if a person ran and said, when I get into office, I will try, prosecute, and imprison. I will guarantee the imprisonment of everybody who had any part in making this invasion happen, whether they are in the military, throughout the business class, whatever. All of them will be put in prison. And then we would have to figure out a way to make it up to our allies. Like, this is a generational, a multi-generational kneecapping of the United States if we do this. I'm aghast, man. I mean, I'm not going to say on this channel that I know we're going to invade Greenland. That I think anybody who traffics in those kinds of exact predictions is kind of insane. But I mean, the signs are pointing certainly in a direction, and it's not good. Denmark's deployed more and more Arctic troops up to Greenland. I don't know if you know, but like Vice News literally like captured them unloading an entire garrison of troops like off of a boat. And I see no reason to believe that will discontinue. This is insane.
What this dude don't understand is there is nothing the US will be able to do to make up for this invasion. Esau is at the end of his time on this earth, leading the earth. So there is no coming back to fix anything. So that's where he's wrong. But they will learn soon enough. Everything they're doing now, they don't realize this stuff is permanent. There is no coming back at all, you know? And they're scared. You can see these people are genuinely scared because once the US is not part of NATO, somebody could come to attack you. You won't get the intelligence to even know they're coming. You know? So Donald Trump is making us the stepchild of the world. So nobody wants to share nothing with the US. No one wants to help the US. And you can thank your president. And believe it or not, I was looking at a story earlier today, and people notice prices going up because Donald Trump went back in the media to say tariffs, that he's going to put tariffs on any country that oppose him taking over Greenland. And just saying that little bit out in the press, people have noticed prices have increased. And that's what I was saying. So, y'all, I'm going to conclude. So, one of many ancestral shadows. Thank you for your super chat. Have what you need, folks. Stay ready. I absolutely agree with that. We got to be ready for practically anything. One of many ancestral shadows. Thank you again for your super chat. None can escape. No, inevitability. You're right. But you know what? Esau is still very naive. And they seem to think, because I'm listening to the way they talk, oh, we're gonna have to turn this around. And you're not turning nothing around. You're not turning nothing around. If you notice, the countries are all turning on the United States because of Donald Trump. The other countries, they don't even like dealing with Donald Trump. So America really will be very isolated, all on her own. And it doesn't matter what landmass Donald Trump tries to grab up. America is still isolated from the rest of the world. And I do agree. If you're going to stop sharing intelligence, then eventually, yeah, they're going to announce, the US is no longer in NATO. That. Trust me, that is next. That's next. But all this talk about turning it around and 10 years from now, I was listening to some guy earlier, it was some white guy, and he was talking about, well, 10 years from now, we'll be doing it. You ain't gonna be doing nothing. You ain't gonna be doing nothing. That is fantasy talk. For real. Mhm. And who's gonna run to the US side at this point? Nobody. Nobody. Not a living soul. But I guess, we know the Most High is moving, and that is the goal, to keep America isolated from the rest of the world. So, the thing is, when America really do fall, you're going to hear a lot of countries coming forward to say they don't feel bad for America. They're not. They're going to be cheering and partying all over the world when America does fall. They're going to be that happy that this place is gone. So, y'all, I will see you all tomorrow on a different topic. Oh, yeah, it's 8 degrees tonight for us. And they're saying we may get a foot of snow this weekend here in my state. And 8 degrees, that is cold. I mean, it's been a few hours since I stepped outside, but it was even cold earlier today. But yeah, so we getting, and with the temperatures dropping, because we're gonna be in like the 20s during the day and in the teens at night. So that snow is gonna be around. It is not gonna melt. So y'all, please enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you all tomorrow. Shalom, family.